1000 watts of solar.
Fries are on the way. Slightly overcooked pizza. Some nice looking fries. And we still have 82% left. Hello everybody, hope you're well. This video is about this. A brand new power pack from Bluetti. And I think this is probably one of the most significant power packs that are out at the moment. And the reason for that is there's a new technology in this, and it's super fast charging. This is the Bluetti Elite 200 version 2, and it has 2600 watts and it has 2072 watt hours. The battery configuration in this is new, so it charges super fast, and it has a capacity to do over 3 kilowatts of surge power as well on the uplift. So this in a camper van would supply you enough power to do all your AC power, and you could cook off this in your camper van. So this would enable you to get rid of gas. And gas, why do we want rid of gas? Well, it's a nightmare. If you have an underslung tank, you have to have an underslung tank, and you have to find a station where you can actually fill it up, and there's less and less of those around. You have all the maintenance of that, all the piping, the potential of leaks. If you have a gas cylinder, you need a gas locker with a dropout venting, and you'd never really know how much gas you've got in that particular bottle unless you've got a valve on it, or you're actually weighing the bottle. So most people take an alternative cooking supply with them, a small cooking stove, or they take another gas bottle with them. You get more condensation with gas, and of course if you get a leak, it's very, very dangerous. So having electric and electric cooking is, you see more and more and more of this, and we're moving away now, I think, from having big lithium separate batteries and inverters and separate systems to things like this. And this new configuration of power and the new batteries in this and the capacity of this and the capabilities of this makes it feasible to use this for cooking. If you use this alongside the Bluetti's Charger 1, you may get away with not having solar as well. It's that significant a change. But what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to cook a meal and see how much power that uses, and then we'll see how fast it'll charge up from that. And I think you'll be surprised how versatile this is going to be if you want to look at building a camper van or moving over to electric cooking, or you're looking to update your systems in your camper van, or especially if you're going into car camping. And car camping, as well as camping in cars, I also mean roof tents and tent boxes as well, because there's lots of those about. You drive about now and you see so many of those around. And having small gas cookers and things like that, you might have some for camping, but this would give you enough power supply to do everything you need by charging up your phones and everything, but also enable you to cook with electric. And of course it's portable, and with it being portable, you can take it outside. You're not restricted to having that gas burner in your camper van. You can take it outside and the stuff with you and cook wherever you want. So really impressed with this. I've asked for the price. If I get the price when I'm editing, I'll put it down here. These are new onto the UK market. They're just coming out, and they've sent me this one to get the video out as part of the launch. If the price isn't down here now, please check the description. There'll be a link to all the specifications, and there may even be a discount code. But these are not going to be over expensive in comparison to other power stations, but they will do so much more. So nothing too special on the front here, what you see all the time on all power stations. This is your input. Just before I go on to that, everything's on the front. There's no through charging on the top for phones. There's handles on here that are nice and easy to get it into a cupboard, and you can put a strap through this and strap it to a wheel arch. It has an app. It uses the Bluetti app, so you can control it all off the app. So inputs here for your DC. So this would be your solar or your car charger, or where your Bluetti is Charger 1 system would go in. This is the only thing I would change on this system. Now this is the typical cigarette socket, or whatever you want to call it, and this is 12 volts at 10 amps. If this had a different socket on this, or an additional socket on this that had DC 12 volts at 30 amps, that would make this absolutely perfect, and you'd be able to run everything in your van with it. You can run some electrics from it, but only having 10 amps, this won't run a diesel heater, particularly on startup, and it may struggle with some fridges. It might run some 12 volt fridges, but not all of them. Then you move down here and you've got your standard USB-C 100 watts, USB-A 15 watts, USB-A 15 watts, and a USB-C again on the end there at 100 watts. 2 sockets, on and off button, and the usual display that you get on all Bluetti systems, how much is going in, how much is going out, what capacity you've got, and how long that's going to last you as well. We'll have a look in a bit at the app, because there's a lot more functions you can alter on this through the app, and you can monitor the charging and change the charging rates for this. But the solar input for this, here it says it'll take up to 1,000 watts of solar. So with being able to take that much power with a new configuration of batteries, this will charge super fast. From AC, if this is completely flat, from AC it'll charge in just over an hour. 1 hour, 0.1 it actually says. And you'll never get it completely flat, so within an hour off AC, this will run at 1,500 watts charging and will charge within an hour. So with this here, and from an AC, Bluetti Charger 1 system, you'll easily put 800 watts into this from that. So it'll charge quick. That's what I mean about this being suitable for using as AC electrics in a camper van, because you can charge it super quick. The only things on the other side are across here, and we have the AC input there, you have a reset, and you have an earthing screw. And it comes with a little screw, and you basically put the screw in there, a piece of wire, and put a stake into the ground. And that's if this gets wet and there's ever a short or anything, it will use this as an earthing short, as an extra safety device. And it's just something they've started to put on quite a few different power packs. Vent on that side, so you need to give it a little bit of space. Nothing on the back. Vent on that side. Majority, practically everything on the front. So what does it come with? It comes with an instruction book, self-explanatory, but there is a QR code on there you can scan to get the app, and the app is one of the best things about operating this unit, because you can alter so many settings, and you can hide this away in a cupboard and just use it remotely from your phone. Comes with a solar lead that fits in there. And of course this would be the lead that you would link to your Charger 1 system. There's the screw for the earthing link and washer, and then of course it just comes with one lead. There's no charging pack with this modern piece of kit. Anyway, let's cook some food. So what we're going to have, we're going to cook a pizza and some fries, and we'll have a cup of coffee. So we're going to use electric pizza oven, a air fryer and electric kettle, and this is going to start off fully charged, and we'll see how much it uses to cook this meal. So there's the pizza in the pizza oven. That's on full, and it takes about 5 minutes. There's the air fryer. Let's put that on full power. Oh, need to plug that one in, that'll help, won't it? So there we are, they're both coming up to temperature, and it's using just over 2,000 watts. So that's not enough, so let's I've plugged in an extension lead because it only has 2 sockets, and we'll put the electric kettle on as well. So pizza, air fryer, electric kettle, and we're at 2,493 watts. I'm not going to film the full thing, I'll come back to you when the food's ready. Chugging away nicely there. I could smell burn. I was thinking, what the hell's that? And over there, if you can see, the gamekeepers are burning off the moor for the grouse. No panic, no panic. Our kettle's boiled, pizza's nearly done, looking nice. Fries are on the way. So the kettle's clicked off now, and the pizza oven will click off in a minute. It'll just be the chips we're waiting for. So the coffee's done, the pizza's done. That looks nice, doesn't it? I might have left it a little bit too long. Just finishing off the fries, and there we are. We've still got 82% left. So there we have it. A slightly overcooked pizza, some nice looking fries. I've got some Hull chip spice. If you're from Hull, you'll know all about that. We've got a coffee. We use the pizza oven, the air fryer, the kettle, and we still have 82% left. So we've used, say, 20%. Well, I'm going to have this, or as much as I can eat. The Whippets might get a chip, and I'll get back to you. I couldn't eat it all, but it was very nice. Look at this poor guy out here. Headwind and cycling into the smoke. Come to the national park for health. That smoke's blowing straight into his face, poor guy. Let's just run through some of the stats in relation to this unit because they are quite impressive. There we go. So the BLUETTI Elite 200 V2, it's 260 watts power output. With the Hercules mode in place, it can do, this is incredible, 390 watts output. So you can run things like heaters, all sorts of stuff of this. You can run a welding plant from this. I've done with some of the other BLUETTI kit. I've welded with these units. This one would be fine with that. 2073.6 watt hours energy capacity in there. The weight, I noticed this is a little bit heavier. I think these new batteries might be slightly heavier. So the weight of this unit is 53.35 pounds. The AC input, I thought it was 1500, but it'll take up to 1800 watts from AC. So if you plug in this into the at home into the mains, it'll charge at 1800 watts. So those new batteries really do absorb some power quickly. Solar input, 1000 watts, and that's via the XT60, which is this one here, which is good because it means you can use practically any solar panels or your on-roof solar, as long as it's in with that capacity, 12 to 60 volts at 20 amps at 100 watt, sorry, at 1000 watts. DC charging, so DC charging from your vehicle alternator, it says on here it'll take 560 watts. But I think this will actually take more. I think from the Charger 1 system it'll take a bit more than that. Comes with a 5-year warranty, and the cycles, so the discharge and recharge cycles, we normally talk about 3000 cycles, and that equates to discharging it and fully charging it for 3000 times, and they say that reduces the power of this to 80% of the capacity to hold the power. This new one with these new batteries, on here it says it will last up to 6000 charge cycles, so that's 20 years of battery capacity before it drops to 20%. Obviously when it drops to 20% it's still usable, it's just that it won't hold as much power. Very, very impressed. And if they start to put these batteries in other units, it's just going to get better and better. It doesn't have an expansion battery, and when I first saw this, I thought, why haven't they made it expandable? And then I thought, well, if you think about it, the principle behind it is this is a very capable unit. It'll take in lots of power quickly, and it'll get rid of lots of power quickly. And to keep the cost down, they probably haven't made it expandable. But if you make it expandable, if you've made it twice the capacity, you've got to get a lot more power in to create that storage. It's okay using it, but once you've used it, obviously it takes longer and takes a lot more power to charge it up. So I think the idea around this is that it takes in a lot of power, it gives off a lot of power, it's a very capable unit and does a lot more than lots of other units do, if not all of this size. But it also charges quickly. So realistically, you shouldn't need a bigger capacity because you can get more charge in this, either from the AC within an hour at that 1800 watts input, or from a Charger 1 system from the alternator charger, or from up to 1000 watts of solar. So there we have it, a full meal cooked, used about 20%, and I used some of the bigger cooking units in relation to how much power they use. Obviously if you're using the electric toaster and beans on toast or something like that with a hot pot, it would use a lot less. So even if you use all that gear and used to use that 2 or 3 times a day, you'd probably use 60% power in a day. But with this being able to take 1000 watts of solar, you could have a portable solar panel or solar on your roof, as much as you can get on pumping power back into this. But also, if it's clicked to the Charger 1 system, you will at least get 500, 600, 700 watts of power going into this as you're driving along. So within an hour or two, you get significant power back into this to reuse it all again. So I think these new batteries, along with that amazing Charger 1 system, and the good thing about that Charger 1 system, as I say, I'll put the links up here for my videos about that, is you can use that Charger 1 alternator system on any power pack really, because it's programmable, which I think is really good of Bluetti. But that link to this with solar, you could do your electric cooking on it, or at least have this as a backup to your gas system. Let's just take it back to the cottage and we'll test it on our off-grid system, because as well as being great in the camper van, the output of this can actually use some standard household appliances for off-grid. And we'll go back to the house and we'll try it in our off-grid setting, and we'll try, normally we try it with our camper van gear that we're taking to the house when we get power cuts, but we'll try it with some of the other components, the other cooking facilities that we've got in the house, particularly a standard kettle, and see how it runs. And we'll see how it runs when we plug it into our off-grid system. So we're back in our cottage, and if you haven't seen this setup before, we have an off-grid switchover system. So the mains power comes in, it goes through the main fuse, through the meter, and down to a transfer switch is down here. And what that means is, if we get a power cut, which we get lots of power cuts, we can transfer from here across to generator, and then we can switch these on through a separate lead. There we go. And then this takes the power from here through the transfer box and back into our fuse box. And it's always a good test, because if the inverter's a bit iffy, it will switch off, it will flick the fuses straight away. But this one hasn't, and it's worked perfectly well. It's pulling 2,504 watts. Now I'll just switch the kettle on. We've got electric auger running at the moment, but I'll just switch the kettle on. Now that's too much for it, so it will run the kettle, but it won't run the kettle and everything else going on in the house as well as the auger. So this is pulling 2,530 watts at the moment. If I was to put the auger on, that's like another 2,000 watts. So that's why it's tripping out. But the management system in this coped with it. It just switched off, said that's too much power, and it switched itself off. And even when it did that, it didn't flick any of the fuses off. So yeah, it's passed the off-grid test. So that just leaves me to say, check the description, there'll be lots of specification and information there. Now, if I haven't got the price yet, it'll be down below. But I don't think this is going to be overpriced. The battery configuration in this and the setup of this, brilliant for a camper van, great for camper van cooking if you use those low wattage products, and also a fantastic backup for the cottage. So that just leaves me to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.